Hello guys, welcome to another episode of Clues, Cues and Reviews, and today I'm looking at Boku no Hero Academia chapter number 99. Now it's half 12 in the morning, 12:30 AM. Hopefully this will probably be out by 1 to kind of show you that okay, when I say I'm going to do something, the good chances I'm going to do it, because I feel that part of my process of doing this is the commitment to say, here's my review, check it out. Now, granted, not everybody will appreciate that. Everyone wants it bang, 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 like a Mr. Never world. But, you know, I've got a job, I have family, I've got other commitments as well. So please take that into consideration. But thank you very much for your understanding. Now, I always tend to give you some type of update or something before I go into my review. Today, I'm going to talk about two things. First, just this room. The room is very plain, as you can see. You know, there's not much going on. The lights, bit of blurriness, messes everywhere, my PlayStation stuff. And the reasoning behind that, sorry about the blurriness. So the reasoning behind that is ultimately I moved house about 6 weeks ago now. And then fasting started like literally a week later. I've just come off that last week. So a lot of it, just didn't have the energy, didn't have the time. Now, there's a lot of things that needs doing in the house, so ultimately that's going to take priority. But what I will be doing from a setup standpoint, as mentioned in my previous video, my Black Clover Chapter 70 review, the next step for me is to get a boomstick arm, which basically helps me have the mic whatever around here, because A, it makes life easier, stops it from falling down, B, it's a lot more professional from my standpoint, and C, the noise from a laptop tends to get recorded in my mic. It's a decent mic, it's, you know, £110 mic, and I didn't not spare any expense, but I want to make sure the quality of sound is as best as I can be, because although my mic is good, I want to make the most of it. My camera, I'm doing my best with lighting, that will also improve. So let me know my plans. Okay, mic stand, hopefully this month is coming, so hopefully I'll set that up and let you know in a video. At some point I'm going to get my laptop sorted out so it doesn't make as much noise. I've had it for 5 years, it does a good job, but it needs to go clean out, so at some point in a couple of months I will do that. I'm also planning to get some curtain poles in here, because I don't have that, just have blinds, so that will hopefully improve the lighting. I will also get another light to kind of even out my light, as well as a kind of a backdrop, really just to black out any of the other, I guess, stuff in here. Anyway, so that's to give you an idea. Then you'll probably find a lot of my stuff will get set up on the walls. That's all in the next couple of months, so plenty to look forward to. But that's my introduction, a long ass one. Let's get into the... So with this review, the chapter itself was simple, but there were elements I enjoyed. So to cut a long story short, as we've seen in the last chapter, a lot of the rooms reflect the people. The ones that stood out for me were Shoji's and Shuto's from the guys, and Momo's from the girls. Now the rest pretty much kind of go hand in hand, and I'll explain why. Shoji was important to me because it was very simplistic, very minimalistic, but it tells you something important about him. He's about instincts. He kind of goes off his instincts. He works with minimum requirements. And I think that's an important trait for a hero or any individual in life, to kind of work with what you've got to get somewhere. So that's important. Number two, the funny thing about the whole Shuto thing or Todoroki thing was the idea that he's posh, he's rich, and he's got that Japanese culture. I absolutely love the Japanese design. You know, the old traditional Japanese architecture is always a beautiful thing and resonates well with me. Personally, if I became rich in the future, I would honestly buy a plot of land and have a dojo built specifically around the Japanese design, you know, the Ryu type of thing. I would love to have that. But yeah, that's why I like those. Standard stuff applied for the rest of the boys. From the girls, Momo showed because she had this, she's posh basically, because you could tell by the way she'd been talking, and she tried to fit as much stuff she could in a small room. She realised she ran out of space, so that was kind of funny. But that shows that she comes from like a rich family, I guess, which may be something they use in the future if there is a funding issue or they need that additional investment maybe into the school, possibly. So there's that. So that was the stuff with the house. So with the rooms, I think ultimately Saoto's room 1, I like that idea because it was meant to be about competition of rooms, but it came upon it became a competition of personality and popularity, but the popular guy didn't win. Now I'll explain. People think popularity is about the votes. The votes were because of the cake, not because he's popular, because he's a shy, quiet guy. Dude, if it was about popularity, then Todoroki would win, because everyone was like, oh, he's so cute and so fabulous, and oh, he's, you know, handsome, and, you know, he's cool, and you know what I mean? So that idea that Sato won because of his cooking was brilliant. I like that, rather than it being a Shuto thing, because that was a popularity contest rather than about something else. And I like that not as big of a character, a less kind of limelighted character won. So I like that. So that was enjoyable for me. Now, the Sui thing was important. It was interesting. She was in a room, and it kind of like, I was thinking about it last, but I might even mention it in my last review. When we find out why she felt guilty that she didn't get involved, she didn't say anything, and she didn't want there to be that awkwardness, and she wanted to go back how it used to be. And it's important that, because it's not just about Tsuyu, it's about these experiences. Sometimes these experiences change people for the good or for the bad, and it's important we get that kind of realignment, so to speak, I guess, to get people to go back to how things used to be. It's never going to be 100% exactly there, but they did push that the idea is they're going to be like old times, I guess, and go back to teaching and learning and all that stuff. So that was cool. It was like a heartfelt moment. I liked it. There was a coming together of people. That was cool. I mean, you had the Bakugao thing, you went to sleep, and, you know, that wasn't really that interesting. It was also important to note that earlier in the room stuff, they talk about Shuto being number one, even though Bakugao technically won that the summer festival, but I think that's more to do, A, possibly translation issue, and B, because he held back. Now that's that. Now on to the best thing about the chapter for me, other than the stuff I mentioned, was the changing of the pace at the end. We get back to doing superhero stuff rather than what's 1 + 1 mathematics. You know what I mean? It's about learning moves, and apparently now we're moving on to a section where the students are going to use their quirks to learn super moves. So I think Izuku should learn the Hadouken and maybe the Tiger Uppercut, maybe. I'm just joking, on Street Fighter references. But I cannot wait to see how creative these abilities are. I don't want them to limit it to 2 moves. What I want to happen is to have them 2 moves, but then have all these different kind of variations to it. If you look at Saitama's got a normal punch, and then he's got consecutive punches, but then he's got serious punches, and he's got consecutive serious punches. Do you know what I mean? It's that variation, how a tree kind of expands. That's what I'm looking for. In any case, simple chapter, a few little points I wanted to mention. I enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed it. We're done with 99. We're moving on to 100. It's a big milestone. What do you think we should do for that? Should I do a live reaction? Let me know in the comment section below if you'd like me to do that. If you don't want to comment, like or dislike. Like if you want me to do a live reaction. Dislike if you don't. I'm all cool with that. Let's get this interaction going, because I'm all about interaction, communication, conversation, theorizing. Let me know everything. I don't really mind. If you think it's slim, it might not be to me. So please comment. I'd greatly appreciate that, and I'd like the conversation to get started. As always, thank you very much for your time. I'd like to see you in the next one. If you can, please watch my videos. Like, comment, subscribe, all the good stuff. See you next time.